I'm going to be doing some talking in the beginning, and then I'll bring you on. You'll mention Marty LaCory. I'll do the race recap, and have at it.
All right.
I gesticulate a lot when I do this, ironically, even though I'm not on TV, so. Ready? Hello everyone and welcome to Running Maryland's The Runaround, brought to you by Halliburton Sports here on ESPN 1300 AM. This is the only show around made by runners and track athletes for runners and track athletes. I'm your co-host Greg Jubb alongside Brad Jager here in the booth as always.
How you doing, Greg? Good afternoon.
Doing well. Brad, we have some very special guests today. Ryan Lampa and David Monaco of the Bring Back the Mile movement, a movement that seeks to restore the mile run to the forefront of track and field. They want to do away with the 1500 and the 1600 and put the emphasis on the mile, America's distance. And we at Running Maryland, we support them. In fact, we are partnered with them, and we can learn more by visiting runningmaryland.com or, for that matter, bringbackthemile.com. So check them out. But that's not all. I feel like I'm selling something now. You know.
One of my heroes from my childhood back in the 70s, the 1970s, not the 1870s, Marty LaCory will be on today too, talking about the Bring Back the Mile movement, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about the Dream Mile back in 1971, and now he's a professional jazz guitarist, so we'll talk a little bit about that too.
I mean, truly an iconic figure in American middle distance running and track and field history. He was the #1 ranked miler in the world in 1969 and 1971. He was the former American record holder in the 2 mile, running 8:17 for that distance, and he was the Pan American Games 1500 meter champion in 1971. And probably what people remember most, as you said, is that Dream Mile against Jim Ryan. That was something else.
And what you have to remember, back then there wasn't the internet, and people got to see these races all the time. When a race was on television, it was a big deal, and this was a big deal.
And very fittingly at the classic Franklin Field at Penn University. So, but let's jump into the race recap. So many records broken and big performances for distance races this past weekend. Galen Rupp broke Bernard Lagat's American record in the 2 mile, running 8:09.72 at the USATF Classic in Fayetteville, Arkansas. I think he went 4:07 in the first mile and came back in 4:02, so that was something else. And at the very same meet, Jillian Camarena Williams broke the women's shot put record with a throw of 65 feet, 3 3/4 inches, so that was a big, big toss for her. But there was some real magic at the Millrose Games. What a meet, and you could have watched that on YouTube, I think. They did some live coverage, which was pretty interesting. Bernard Lagat, right after Galen Rupp takes his 2 mile record, he comes back, breaks Galen Rupp's American record in the 5,000, running 13:07. So those two really just exchanged national records within hours of each other, so that was pretty interesting.
And this year, the Millrose Games was at the New York Armory, which is a 200-meter track, a banked 200-meter track, a lot faster than the old Madison Square Gardens games. So whether you're an old diehard that wanted to watch it on the boards or watching it on the new track, it was really fast.
Yeah, and that track at the Madison Square Garden, 11 laps to the mile, I believe, something crazy like that. It's a 150-meter track, so I'm kind of glad to see it at the Armory. It really changed things a little bit. So also, Lawi Lalang, right after Bernard Lagat crossed the line, he smashed the collegiate record in the 5,000, running a 13:08. I mean, this guy's the real deal. He broke Galen Rupp's indoor record by a solid 10 seconds, and even more impressive, he surpassed Henry Rono's outdoor collegiate mark of 13:08.
And Ed Cheserek, a junior in high school in New Jersey, ran 13:57, the first high school runner ever under 14 minutes.
And that's scary.
Yeah.
And he's a junior.
And a junior.
Moving on to the mile, Matthew Centrowich Jr. wins the Wanamaker Mile in 3:53.92. A very impressive professional debut for the mile for him. And he looked like he wasn't even tired. It looked like he jogged it. Brad, did you see that race?
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. And he didn't even look like he was breathing hard. Came just 300 meters ago. He took off and came across the line smiling.
Hardware at London? Or what are you thinking? Is it possible?
Too early. Too early.
Too early to talk? All right, well, we'll talk more about that as the races progress. But in that very same race, Miles Batty of Brigham Young University broke the NCAA record in the mile, running 3:54.54. That's something else.
25-year-old college runner, too.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's up there in age, but,
Yeah.
you know, at that point, 3:54 is still very impressive. And Jenny Simpson returned to her winning ways as well, taking the women's 1500 in 4:07. At the University of Washington invite, Ryan Hill of North Carolina State breaks the collegiate record in the 3,000 with a 7:43. That is smoking. And since we're talking about the mile today, how about some Maryland pride for the mile this past weekend? Big week for the mile and Maryland athletes. Like I said, Centrowitz ran a 3:53. Robbie Crease, formerly of Glen Elk High School, now running for Penn State, broke a 4-minute mile running 3:59. And the best thing about it, he's only 18. Is he going to follow in Centrow's footsteps, Brad? What do you think?
I don't know. It was just, it still hasn't registered with me that he broke 4 minutes. When I first saw it on Facebook that he had broken 4 minutes, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Is that split or something? You know,
Yeah.
That was the full mile.
That's an incredible race for him.
And he has the American Junior record in the 1,000. He ran that 2:19. So I mean, he has the chops for that. Brian Leiter, former distance stand-up for Francis Scott Key High School and Frostburg State University, now running post-collegiately, ran a 4:06 at the Boston University Valentine Invite. Very impressive performance for him. And the Terp Milers strutting their stuff. Kyle Graves of the University of Maryland, formerly of Good Counsel High School, ran a 4:08 of the New York Armory, followed closely by teammate Sumant Kapali, the 4:12, formerly of Perry Hall High School, and Kakane Punua, running a 4:13 right behind him. It sounds like they're ready for the ACC championships in a few days, a couple weeks. I know it's very soon, so.
Maryland's representing.
There you go. All right, but we have the